Allah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Brakatahawa, Brakatahawa Brakatahawa, Brakatahawa Shai, Brakatahawa, Brakatahawa Shai, the water, above, called Kadash. I'd like to give double honors to the elders, apostles, great millstone that teaches truth, that we know is 100% truth, the true word of our Lord. Still going over this Ashley Janae Robinson, um, that's still floating around, and I listened to the brother from GMS Kansas City video, and he did a very good breakdown on it. How the women of our nation, man, how they worship Esau Edom, man. Their ties go back all the way to Adam and Eve. Eve talking and being aligned with the serpent back in the Garden of Eden, and nothing has changed to this day, man. Eve is still gullible. Esau sees that he can easily prey on the women of our nation, especially the nigger women, the black women, so-called black women. She's, and this shows these prophecies definitely fit, because you go in Deuteronomy, it tells how her eyes shall be evil towards her men and the children of her bosom. And who's that best described as Eve, the so-called nigger woman. No other nation of women stands out more harder against their men than the so-called black woman, man. She really despises her men. And like the brother was saying, like you can go into any fast food restaurant or any place where there's a cashier and you got a black woman, you automatically know you're going to get a different type of treatment. You can have a Edomite male, a white man, go right in front of you, and she'll give him all type of pleasantries and, how you doing, sir? Thank you, and all that. And as soon as you come up, she don't open her mouth, man. Don't part a word. And you better not say anything, she gonna show out. But that's just how it is, man. That's part of the curses, man. And these women are played by. And like I said, this Ashley Janae Robinson, supposed to be an influencer. Influencers mean somebody who persuades other people to follow their actions. She has a lot of followers now. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted now. So that means a lot of women follow behind these women, man. And that's why the serpent goes after the women of our nation mostly, man, because they're influencers. They influence the nation, especially Judite women. Judah is the head tribe, so all these other nations fall behind Judah. So you program her a bunch of wrong shit, which they call themselves baddies, black girl magic, just all type of things that's contrary to the Bible, and then here's them out in front and promote them, man, to be what they call influencers, man, so they can influence the next generation. Now, mind you, she's no young girl. She's in her 30, 31. So she's been doing this for several years. So how much more so this young generation that's coming up now, that's still in school, high school, and all these other, who they influence, man, who they influenced by these influencers, these Cardi B's, these Meg Thee Stallions, about getting the bag and chasing the bag. Well, this Judite woman, she got the bag, man. She got the body bag running behind her daddy, Esau Edom. And like the brother was saying, a lot of the other black women, they pissed because the men are calling that shit out. They calling out for what it is. And Eve can't stand that, man. Eve can't stand to be called out because they hate accountability. But this shit is going to turn up, man. It's just the beginning of it. It's just the beginning, because shit's going to get real dire straits out here, man. And a lot of these men holding a lot of contempt for the way a lot of our women have been doing this, man. And these other nations recognize Jake for who he is, man. They see the power in Jake. And a lot of these women, they will submit to a Jake man, you so-called black man. Don't get me wrong, these other nations, they go off, but they're more submissive to a Jake man than they are their own men, because the curses are falling on Esau Edom. And Eve, she has no wisdom. She don't see this. She gonna follow Esau Edom into the lake of fire, man. She's gonna drown right there with them. And like I say, this young black influencer, now she's going on to the spirit world. Now she knows better now, but she's shamefaced. A lot of these women that's here in Babylon the Great, they're going to be shamefaced, man, the day of the Lord, man. Before that, when Jacob's trouble kick in, man, they're gonna submit. They're gonna submit to men, man. And not only just any man, but a man of the Lord. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 25. 25 verse 16. And I want to make another point too. Like I said, a lot of these so-called nigger women, they will submit to an Edomite man, you know. But Jake, they would give pure hell to. And what might have happened, like one of the scenarios that may have played out in that case, man, is like I said, it's ingrained in them. You could tell she's a ratchet, you know, when she was talking on some of her other videos, man. She's a ratchet, but they do this thing what they call cosplay, where they try to put on another facade or who, you know, to be more in line with Esau Edom. But let something not go right, and, or either she's held accountable, then that nigger come out and that nigger woman come out. And she may have reacted a certain way, and you know Esau Edom, man, like this one brother was saying, you know, when they was born and raised up, they was calling their mothers bitches and all type of shit, you know, kicking their mothers, spitting on their mother, biting their mothers and all that type of shit. So they have no type of accountability. And same way Eve is. Eve's the same way. She has no accountability. That's why we say these two are kind of like built and made for each other, the nigger woman and Esau Edom. And like I said, this Edomite might have flipped on them because you like I say they will go off, man. These Edomites, it's in their nature, man. They're not used to taking a loudmouth Eve going off and raising hell towards them. And then he may have to do what Edomites do. You know, he brought the hammer down on them. And now we know the end result. Let me hit these scriptures real quick. Ecclesiastes chapter 25, verse 16. I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with the wicked woman. And we know Eve, man. I don't know if it's a new, especially a new generation of Eve now. It's a lot more worse than what it was 25, 30 years ago, man. You know, you might find one or two ratchets out there every now and then. You know, the other ones, they had it in them, they just kind of kept it in check. But these women now, man, this generation now, it's like an epidemic, you know. And I don't know if it has something to do with, we know with the food, we know the food plays a major part, but the chemicals and the wigs and all that shit that they put on their heads, man. And then these things have spirits on them when they get from these other nations, man. They have demonic spirits on it. You can see it come out of these women, man, our women. And that's why, you know, Eve is the least desired among all the other nation of women, mainly because they're who they have become. They become unrecognizable. And see, I'd rather dwell with the lion and the dragon than to keep house with the wicked women, because we know how Eve does when she goes off, man. It's nothing that you can compare it to, you know. And they have no wisdom, so they just totally throw everything out the window, man. They just totally lose it. It don't take much because they're so caught up and bent up in their emotions, man. They don't pay any attention to anything else around them. So they neglect the kids, all that behind their emotions. So that's the Jake, man. You know, we'd rather deal with a lion and a dragon than to deal with wicked women that we have with. That's why a lot of Jakes are dealing with these women of the other nation. Now we can deal with them. We can even have kids by them, but we can't marry them. We're not supposed to marry the women of these other nations. Now, even though I see the spread throughout these other nations, you know, but you know, it's a fine line there. Verse 17, the wickedness of a woman changes her face and darkness, and her countenance like sackcloth. Now you see when he, like say her, she put on that fake facade, you know, like she's all etiquette and, you know, and she's high maintenance and high, you know, like some type of royalty when she's around that Edomite. But then, like say, once that switch flip, you know how Eve can get, man. They just throw everything out the window, man. They just go wild. They just turn into something like a Tasmanian devil, man. And like I said, this Edomite may not have been able to deal with that. And you know how they deal with pressure, man. Jake used to dealing with them like that. So we know we just walk off and leave them, or, you know, some Jakes, you know, if they effeminate, they'll go back and forth or whatnot. If they raised by their mothers, you know, these emotional type Jakes, but we know not to go back and forth with them. We just walk away, man. We just fucking leave them to their own devices. Her husband shall be among his neighbors, and when he heareth, it shall sigh bitterly. imagine, having a wife like that, she going to fuck off. And you see it all time and time again in the hood, man, in the apartments. Because, you got those paper thin walls, man. You hear them going off next door. And Jake just like, he got to walk out the apartment shame face, man. And all the neighbors here because she going to turn up. She going to be ratchet as fuck. You know how he does. She going to make sure the whole neighborhood knows what the fuck their business is. I see my auntie used to do it to my uncle, man. I call him my uncle because, he pretty much, he took on her kids and pretty much put up with the hell she was given. But he helped, raise her kids and her family, man. But she would put him through hell, man, every Friday. Every time he get paid and hand her his paycheck, she would go off on him, man. Break out his car windows, That's a total clown show, man, for the whole neighborhood to see. The police get involved, cut up his clothes, set them on fire and all type of shit. Every other weekend, man. Every weekend, if not every other weekend. And that's what he had to go through. He go work hard all day and come back to that shit. Now, mind you, this man was about 6'4", 310 pounds, and he ain't not no slouch either. He used to be a bouncer. But that's the type of shit he put up with, dealing with Eve, man. I used to tell him, why the fuck you even deal with that, man? And all he had to do any day with his hands, he could have easily just broke her in two, man. But he would put up with that shit. Verse 21, stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire not her for pleasure. Because, like, you look at this chick, man, she wasn't a bad-looking chick, We know that they use a lot of filters and makeups and all that. But I think really underneath, she probably was a decent-looking chick. She had a decent body on her, which a lot of that might have been enhanced. But, so that's why the Lord tell you, don't stumble at the beauty of a woman, man, because what's underneath is what you need to be paying more attention to, man. Because inside, man, might be a raging beast. And once you get that in your home and bring that to your home, she's going to destroy your peace. A lot of Jake, have found peace. They found their own place. They're doing their own thing. Then once you bring that type of woman into your house, man, she's going to destroy your peace, man. You're not going to be able to focus on the Lord, doing what the Lord has required you to do, doing the Lord's work. So don't be in a quick rush to run out here to grab these women, man. This is not our time. When we go into the kingdom, they're going to be right-minded then, They're going to be in order like they're supposed to. And like I said, they're gonna be blessed in the kingdom, man. The women of our nation, those that's doing right. And like I said, this message don't go out to all the women, but it goes out to the ones, who like this woman, man. And that's majority of our women. They're like that, and the Lord's going to destroy them, but they're going to come back in the kingdom. They're going to be right-minded. And the women of our nation that's doing right, man, you're going to be blessed, man. Like I said, when the Lord comes, you're going to have all type of service and handmaids. You're not going to have to lift a finger to just, to be in the help me to your man. Verse 24, and this sums it all up. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Running behind Esau Edom, man. That's what brought sin into the world, because once he influenced her, being the weaker vessel, she turned around and influenced her Adam. Adam shouldn't have listened because we're not supposed to listen to a woman. And once he did that, sin was introduced. Verse 25, this is another one to sum up. Give water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. See, that's what we're going all the damn place. Like I said, these women wicked, so they're going to get. And these other nations don't play that shit, man. They don't play like Babylon the Great, man. These other nations, man, they still kind of stick to the old ways, Like a loud, wild woman, you see them travel to these other places, man. They not putting up with that shit. Especially on men of those nations. They'll put hands on them real quick. And we finish off verse 26. If she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh, and give her a bill of divorce, and let her go. So wipe your hands clean up. And we all done dealt with them in the past, man. We just had to pretty much wipe our hands and move on, man, in order to find your peace, in order that you can be more close to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Because if not, man, they want all your attention, man. They keep you tied up in so much shit that you can't focus on what your work is, what your true work is. And that's one thing about becoming a man, girding up your loins, man. It's being able to make that sacrifice, man. So Lord will, man, is edifying with that. Say shalom.